Why are you giving that look? I was going to say our podcast is sponsored by, what's this called?
No.
Owl's Brew, Boozy Tea, and Botanicals.
It is not sponsored by anyone yet.
No, but if they sponsor us, I don't have to go to Erewhon and buy more of these.
They're not that good.
They're pretty good.
They're not that good.
They're female founded.
Ergo, not that good.
It's Erewhon, not Ergo.
No, if we get any sponsors, it's going to be Happy Dad.
Oh.
I will die before I let them get away from us.
Honestly.
So, some cultural things that we should talk about.
That's how you just lead in?
Yes, because our last episode was very politically heavy.
This isn't canon. No, you can't just some cultural things before you get to the news. Like this is like network. Like you're some cultural things before you get to the news.
Network? I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Okay, at the end of that movie, now settle a bet for me. Did he get killed or did he die on stage at the end of that movie?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember, but he did die.
Yeah.
At the end, at like a big speech in front of people.
Spoiler alert.
Well, look, it came out in 70 whatever. Like it's not in theaters now. You cannot say spoiler alert.
Well, some of our listeners might be young.
But I was recanting it in a group of people, and I could not remember exactly how it ended.
To whom were you speaking about this film?
I forgot, but within the past 4 days, I was talking about this.
I'm now curious because I was the person who showed you this movie.
I know. It might have been Maggie. I don't know.
Classic film. Like, it's a really good movie that holds up, to this day.
Because I said something like, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. And I got blank stares. And I'm like, Oh, yes. Okay. It was Saturday night, we were at Yamashiro. And the waiter said, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. I said, that's from Network. And then I started the discussion about the movie Network, and everyone looked at me with blank stares. And I'm like, ugh.
Kyle watched it too. He should have jumped in.
And I said, we watched that movie. And he was like, when? And I was like, what?
I'm going to slap
him. He did. I'm sorry, I blew up his spot.
Such a classic movie. Yes, no.
Yes, no. But I forgot. Did he have a heart attack at the end, or did he get killed? I thought he got killed.
No, he got killed, yes.
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, because it was tied in with the communist woman. Mm-hmm. Because, it was tied in with the communist woman, the black woman who...
you don't have to bring race into this.
The black communist woman who gave...
Her name is Angela Davis, and she's a goddamn celebrity.
They gave the show to, in order to drum up... publicity and success for her show or for her documentary or whatever it was. They were like, let's plant her in the audience and she can shoot Howard. Was that his name?
Yeah. Did you know that apparently, this is not proven, Angela Davis had a fling with Clint Eastwood for years? Could you imagine that?
This is not a show for conspiracy theories.
What's the conspiracy?
I don't know.
Was Fannie Willis involved? I'm sorry. The fact that there's a prosecutor named Fannie, how far could you get in your field before you're like, at least change it to Fenella or whatever the hell it's supposed to be?
Fannie Flagg, she was an author, and she was an avid guest on Match Game.
Fannie Flagg is the intersex one that has the hole in the middle with the arrows and everything. That's the Fannie Flagg.
Fannie Flagg was apparently a very good author.
Oh.
She wrote some good comedy.
Well, tell us what happened at Stash yesterday. Because you said that they had a certain flag up that was something that you don't normally see in the neighborhood.
Yes, but that wasn't what I was going to bring up. But anyway.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. In West Hollywood, there's lots of Progress Pride flags, with the stupid... pink and white and blue and black and brown chevrons.
It's trans and all kinds of things.
They have that everywhere. But the one place that they don't have it, and I just so happened to notice it yesterday, was Stash, where I was sitting outside on one of their lovely couches.
Which is nice. They actually give you a place to sit.
They did a good job with that place.
Yeah.
I sat down. There was like a bachelorette party or something going on, and they, sat down and talked to me for a little while. And I looked up, and I was like, that's a normal pride flag. That's not
what it's an actual rainbow flag.
Monstrous, atrocities. So I took a picture. I was like, you know what? I don't mind drinking here if they're going to fly that flag.
Yeah. Because it's almost like an anachronism now to have something like that. Like, you can't just have a regular ass rainbow flag.
Which...
Not allowed.
There were a lot of people there, so I'm wondering, like, do you people just not notice that they're flying a regular pride flag, or do you not care?
I don't think anyone notices until it's pointed out to them, or those kind of things.
I don't know, but every time I've been in there, it's been very apparent that it's not overly political,
silly, or political, just anything. It's just
right.
it's just a fun
place.
gay bar.
It's just a business. Imagine that. In 2023, a business can just be a business.
Imagine a gay bar where you can get good drinks, and also during certain times of the day, get good drinks for slightly cheaper, called happy hour. What's
and food.
And food.
They have food now.
Okay, so like what's...
And the bartenders are all nice.
They were very nice. Yeah, every time we've gone in there.
The story that I wanted to tell was at the drag show at Rocco's.
Oh, that's right. Now,
so
this was a little bit my fault. Just a small.
Don't even start with me. So I have to, for posterity and for
pasta.
For the record, I have to say that I was told, we're going out for Sunday Fun Day starting at noon.
No, I said...
that is what I was texted.
No, what I said is I think everyone's getting together at noon.
You know what? I'm going to bring the receipts.
And by the way,
nope.
I feel very bad that we were not there earlier.
No, or at all.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So... I said...
But remember, I didn't think you were coming until the morning of.
That is not the
Because
point.
you were like, I don't want to do it. I invited you to Sunday Fun Day, and you were like, no.
That's not what I said.
And I was like, okay.
That's not what I said.
I'll invite you again.
I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I said maybe I can come.
So you declined the invitation.
I'm going to set the record straight. I said maybe I can come. Straight. What time, where, and who's going?
Oh, that's... by the way, who are you? The Queen of England saying what time, where, and who's going?
I'm a very important person who has no problem...
But exactly, who's going? Like, you know who the fuck is gonna go.
I have no time for riffraff. And you said... I won't read the whole thing. You said I was gonna say noon.
I was going to say noon.
End of conversation. I texted you the morning of. Still noon? I just texted someone. I'm gonna find out. Then I heard nothing. Nothing for hours. And so I just showed up around 12:45.
Wait a second. Where did you show up?
I showed up to Bayou, which was closed, by the way.
Oh.
So I went to Stash.
Because I messaged him and he said, hey, this is what I know. I said, okay, tell Mitch.
We're having this conversation on podcast.
We're having a podcast conversation.
We're having a podcast argument. No, but the point is, I showed up at a time that I thought was reasonable because you said noon and I showed up around 1 and I was like, okay, for gay time, I'll be a little bit late. So I showed up around 12:45, 1 o'clock, and I get texted from our friend who said, I'm going to this drag show at Rocco's, come over. And
okay.
I'm like, well, I have nothing else to do. So
here's what I
have to show up.
11:25 a.m. I said, okay, text Mitch and tell him where you're at. Because he said, I'm done gonna go to Rocco's to see the drag show. My friend wants to go, so 3 vomit emojis. And
right, because he didn't want to be there either, but he dragged me into it.
Literally. And so I was like, okay, well then Mitch is gonna see you. Great, you guys are gonna link up, and it's fine.
So, by the way, this is a long run to say that I went to a drag show that it was your fault. And I hate Rocco's to begin with. So going into Rocco's and with a drag show, like, this is like 2 strikes against him. And I was sober as fuck. I walk over to Rocco's, and what am I greeted with? This twink standing at the door who says, "Yeah, what do you want?"
What?
And I'm like, "I'm here to meet some friends." So I'm pretty sure you had to pay to go into this drag show. I think it was a ticketed show, I guess, because he was like waiting for me to, like, I don't know, flash tits or show big money or something. And I'm like, "I'm here to meet some friends." And he's like, he looked around like, "Is anyone watching?" And he goes, "Okay, just go in." And I'm like,
what? I mean, it's free, but still,
okay.
That's so nasty.
So I walked in, and by the way, they had these, like, a plethora of scones that were not touched.
Wait, why would you have scones in West Hollywood?
Because they were,
They were doing tea and strumpets?
They were promoting the Amazon Prime movie with...
Wait, the
royal
bullshit, the red, white, and
royal blue, yes.
Blue balls. Oh God! No.
So they had tons of scones, individually wrapped
that
scones.
No one ate.
That had like Little Debbie's face on them, and I'm just like, a room full of gays. Like, no one's eating carbs. Like, okay. So I just walked in. And I sat down, and the guy came over, and he was like, "Oh, do you want a drink?" And, I'm, Mr. Budget Conscious here. I'm just like, "No, I'm okay." After 2 songs, I was like, "Give me a drink." These Lizzo wannabe drag queens who were just busting at the seams out of their costumes. I was just like, am I back in Albuquerque? Like, this is LA. Who the fuck are you?
You gotta step your game up here. Like, that's embarrassing.
So it was bad. But as any drag show goes, they had the host did this kind of semi-impromptu crowd work, right?
Right.
And so in the middle, they had birthday and anniversary type things, and they made them get up and dance and, bullshit.
I think it'd be funny if it was like a birthday and anniversary, you get up and then people just throw things at you.
Yeah.
They should do that. They should throw water balloons or something. Fuck you.
So the first part of this was very uncomfortable. So it was a gay couple who had just been married like 2 days before. And the drag queen's like, "I hope this isn't your honeymoon." And they're like, "No, we're going to Mexico, blah, blah, blah." And anyway, they get up, and she goes through the line and asks, like, kind of semi-sexual questions.
Which is the top, which was the bottom.
Right, exactly. And so it gets to the married couple.
Which is weird when they do it to kids, but it's also it's funny in a brunch drag show.
Some of the birthday people, it made sense, but these 2 married couple, like, it's kind of weird. But she asked him anyway, and the one said, the blonde twink says, "I'm the bottom of this relationship." And then she goes up to the other guy and says, "You mean you don't take it in the butt every now and then?" And he goes, "Well, I mean, I guess." And then she goes, she looks over at the table and goes, "Oh, wait, is that your mom sitting at the table?" And
what?
Goes, "No, it's my grandma." There's a grandmother and an aunt sitting at this table at brunch, listening to them talk about their sex lives. And I was so mortified on their behalf. I'm just looking at Jose, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just named him on the podcast. I'm looking at our friend saying, "What's going on?"
Do not take your grandma and aunt to Rocco's. Do not.
And so the drag queen, to her credit, said, "Someone get grandma a shot. I just ruined her day." And I said, "Girl, you right."
Oh my God.
But then it got worse for me. It got worse for me.
Oh no. Specifically.
Yes. Because I guarantee you, I was the only one to notice this. I was the only one, and I want to get your opinion on this.
Yes.
So one guy who was a birthday.
Yeah. How many events are celebrated at Rocco's on a Sunday?
There were 5 people there celebrating their birthday / wedding. So 3 birthdays and the
2 weddings?
Yeah, the married couple. So this one guy who, after they answered the demeaning questions, she made them dance on the stage.
Grandma got run over by a drag queen.
I mean, that should have been the song, but
that's going to be the title.
The couple got up and did like a very raunchy dance together again in front of Grandma and Aunt.
That's just something
disgusting.
deeply uncomfortable. See, that's why I like my culture, because at least grandmas and aunts in my culture would throw things.
Right, they're just over there. They're over there filming.
What?
Grandma was filming the whole thing, and I'm just like,
that's
this is
up.
weird.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, the young man whose birthday it was, he was apparently 27 and a top. 27.
How do you know?
Because he answered the question. She asked, "Are you top, bottom, verse?" He's like, "I'm a dom top."
Oh, why is he at Rocco's on a Sunday?
He was clearly dragged there. He gets up and dances, and he's a white man, and he dances to some it was like an 80s rap song, I think.
Okay.
I forget the name.
Did he dance to Rich Old Men North of Richmond or something like that?
No, it was an 80s rap song. I don't remember. I could remember the name, but I don't remember it. The point is, it was a rap song, and he was up there kind of dancing, and at the end, the drag queen says, "Wow, of the 5 people who got up here who are all white, you're the whitest." And she's like, "Does anyone have rhythm here?" And blah blah blah.
Was it a drag queen of color?
I think she pretended to be, but I couldn't tell.
Oh.
But what really got me, and again, this is the one thing that I guarantee you no one else noticed. She said, "You are so white and you don't have any rhythm." And he turned around and on mic said, "I'm sorry." I understand the sentiment, but you are literally apologizing for your race. And immediately I was like,
what?
Where have we become in a society that you are now apologizing for being white?
Yeah, that's weird. Like it's a disease or something.
It's not just weird, though. Like,
well, it's pervasive.
But it was clearly, a gay man who's probably very woke and all this shit. For you to instinctively apologize for your race, we've come to a very big problem.
Right.
And so I took a very humorous story and made it very serious all of a sudden. But I was upset when I heard him say that.
It would have been almost like, I feel like my reaction would have been like, if someone said that, been like the Black China clip, like, I'm about to rock your world. ASAP would have been like, so rock it. So rock it. Isn't that what Oppenheimer's all about? But that's so strange. That's a strange pathology. That's the opposite of the rainbow flag that you saw. Yeah. I just stretch my arms out like YMCA so that
like everyone can see it.
Exactly, like anyone can see my gestures. But I'm like, on one side is the rainbow flag. On the other side is someone apologizing for being white because they didn't dance well, like in some like 80s Eddie Murphy routine. Black guys dance like this, but white guys dance like this. That's basically where we're at now.
I mean, yes, obviously there's a tinge of quote-unquote racism to the joke of, oh, white people don't have rhythm. But that's kind of laughed off and like, okay, it's funny.
Yeah.
But then as soon as someone in earnest
says
I'm sorry, that's where it becomes this is no longer a joke, and this is something that has taken over your psyche, that you are actively apologizing for your race.
That's weird.
And this is a problem.
Yeah.
So how do we fix it? Mr. Fix It?
So rock it.
Rock Your Whiteness.
No, I think that the people...
David Duke.
No. I know, Rock Your White, he doesn't rock his whiteness. Well, that was a funny comedian, Theo Vaughn, who grew up in Louisiana, who was like, we just had this old man who was next door. He's super cool. He always threw our footballs back and everything. That turns out it was David Duke. He's a very nice man. I think that there needs to be a new racial category for white people who renounce their whiteness in those kinds of ways. We need to find something else for them. It needs to be off-white or
eggshell,
like
an interior design.
Exactly, or like you know, white out. You know, that sort of like the something like that. I think eggshell is good. These eggshells, because it has a good verbiage for people who
and it nuances their fragility.
Exactly. Okay, I'm sold on it. These eggshells. If you're going to renounce being white, you have to pick something else. And you have to go with it. But in the same way that in the black community, there's people who say, oh, I'm not black, I'm not this, I'm not that, and then they get called Uncle Tom or everything like that, whatever. There's no Uncle Toms in the white community. There's nothing like that. And I think that there needs to be a new terminology for people who, especially something that's as immutable, because my lips stuck together, as race. You can't pull a Rachel Dolezal and just like decide halfway through the gauntlet, okay, we're gonna be Asian. You can't do that. It'd be really funny if she did.
You remind me of Bethany, a line from Bethany from Real Housewives of New York City.
What?
So Kelly...
Our favorite union buster.
Kelly Ben-Simone, who is...
Ben Simon.
Absolutely insane. On season 3 of Real Housewives of New York City, she would say contradictory things all the time. So, for example, she would say, oh, I don't eat processed foods, as she's throwing gummy bears in her face.
What?
And Bethany's like, those aren't the bears you see in the Bronx Zoo. Like, you're not eating bears. Like, what's wrong with you? But at the reunion, she goes, Kelly, no one understands what you're saying. Next, you're going to tell me that you're an African-American, Asian, bisexual woman. No, you're not. You're just white and stupid. And it was iconic moment anyway. But bringing up, like, the mixed race, like, someone saying I am a race that they're not.
Right, but I think that's, in a sense, it's the next step. It's like the Martina Big, that Austrian woman with that basically goes around in blackface now because she got melanin injections, or Rachel Dolezal or anything like that. Like, it's people trying to be another race, like, that they're not. And so we need to have another category for those people. They're eggshell. They're very white, but they're trying to be something else, and they never will be. So these eggshells, I don't know.
It was very eye-opening to me, and
that's odd.
Again, though, I guarantee you, I was the only person in the place that recognized and witnessed and felt some kind of disturbed feeling.
Everyone else is like, like clapping along seals.
Right.
Do Mexicans ever apologize for being Mexican? Ever?
Or parking their cars in their lawns.
I have a name. No.
And they shouldn't.
Exactly.
Just like a white person shouldn't apologize.
In the same way that it's genetic. You can't say that race is blind, race doesn't exist, everything like this. And also say I'm going to apologize for being of this race. Asians don't apologize for being Asian. People of color don't apologize for their color. Why would you apologize for being white? That's very odd to me. But I feel like that anytime you even say something like that, there's some leftover tinge of like, ooh, can't talk about that. I wish that people were 0.1% scared of...
0.1%?
1/10 of a... I wish that people were 0.1% scared of...
Of?
like 3 options came to mind, and I knew they went through different rabbit holes. So I'm trying to pick the one that's the shortest explanation. But
rabbit hole? What'd you call me?
I wish that people were 0.1% scared of their own longevity as they are of being considered racist. I wish they were that percent scared of being kind to other people as they were considered racism. I wish that they were that scared of this country running out of money or it's sending its money to another country doesn't matter as they were scared of racism. It's a very weird over concern. It's a very bourgeois concern of us to be worried about that when there's so many other problems that are happening.
But it's not. Do you know why it's not?
Why? Because of the racial lens?
Because they see immediately they see the consequences, the immediate consequences of being labeled as racist.
Right.
They see the consequences of being shunned by society. They see the consequences of being canceled by these people, losing a job, all of this stuff that could affect their lives tremendously if they are labeled as one thing or another. They do not see the consequences of, they don't see the immediate consequences of saying, okay, yeah, let's send billions of dollars to a country that no one could put on a map.
Right.
They're like, well, that's not my problem. That's my kid's problem. Or that's my grandkid's problem, right? I'm not going to see the immediate consequences of that tomorrow. It's not going to affect me drinking this beer at drag brunch.
Right.
So they don't care
at drag brunch. But my thing is, I feel like I am not scared of a racist by any capacity, of any perspective, anti-whatever. I am not scared of that person. I am fascinated to hear why they believe what they believe from any perspective. I really am. It may be a bad experience with somebody of a certain race. It may be something that somebody told them at a certain point in their life. I am not scared of a racist. I am scared of a white person of a certain level of privilege who sees me as a speed bump on the way to get where they need to go.
To Erewhon.
Literally in Erewhon. Like in the Erewhon parking lot. I am scared of a white person and a Bentley in the Erewhon parking lot. I am not scared of
Lisa Rinna and her Tesla.
Who has almost killed me once and probably will again. Then I am as scared of a racist. Because what is someone going to do? What are they going to do? What, they're going to deny me for a loan? They're going to, tell me I can't have a job? Well, why would you want to work for that person anyway? And there's already so many legal protections that protect me in any of those capacities. I'm not scared of a racist. And I'm not scared of being thought of as racist. Because I know I'm not, and the people that love me know that I'm not.
You're not?
What? This whole time?
I gotta get out of here.
I'm not scared of that. I'm not scared of racism. And I think the people who are lying, I really do. I think it's a convenient excuse to try to understand the world around you. It's a lot easier to say that somebody doesn't like you for something you can't change than somebody doesn't like you for something you can. So, if I was on that stage, which I very well could have been, and wasn't.
Let's go for your birthday.
Because of external factors. I would not have apologized if some overweight man in a pair of fishnets and...
That's the weird thing. The
drag queen?
The MC, the hostess, I guess, the drag queen hostess of the show, he was like thinner than a beanpole.
Okay.
But the other 4
drag
performers were
Lizzo's rejects?
Basically, yeah. I was gonna say thick as thieves, but that doesn't make any sense.
I am not scared of a drag queen. I am not scared of someone who had to spend 2 hours putting on eyebrow glue. If I worked retail, I'd be scared of a drag queen because they steal.
Yeah. And...
Are they the ones who stole at the Topanga Mall? Did the drag queens?
One of them was wearing a spandex sequined number that must have been just so tight because one of the sequins had fallen off or busted off because you could just see nothing but pad underneath, like a dime-sized hole, and I was just like, I'm 30 feet away and I can see that. Honey.
Look, do not let a hole in a bad pair of fishnets get in the way of a bad rendition of Beautiful Stranger.
I think she was singing Gloria Estefan. I don't know.
Oh, God. Even worse. Are you sure it wasn't Gloria Estefan?
No. Even she has standards.
Ask her restaurant workers.
Anyway, I have one more topic that's a little risque here.
More than this?
Yeah.
How?
So, Pornhub.
Oh, exclusive porn. No, I'm an X and X kind of.
Pornhub is apparently suing the state of Texas. Have you heard about this?
For what?
Texas has enacted a law, I believe, requiring Pornhub and pornography sites to have age verification requirements.
I heard that Louisiana's been big on this.
But apparently, a step further than anything else has ever been. So, not just you have to click a box that says yes.
It's actual upload your ID verification.
Right.
Ugh.
Or some type of actual verification.
That makes me uncomfortable in the sense of someone's trying to, polish the bishop. They don't need to have their actual information there, but there has to be some other way of verifying their ID. They should be able to say who the 2001 MTV Unplugged performers were. Something like that. That's a greater ID verification system than anything.
So I'm gonna go on record, and this actually might shock you, if not some of our listeners. I'm probably the most conservative person that you know.
Not really.
Morally.
No.
Okay, whatever. I am fairly conservative when it comes to sexual things.
Don't act shocked.
I am in agreement with the law in as much as I think that you should have to be over 18 to watch this stuff.
Yeah, everyone agrees with that.
But that's all that they're doing. They're asking you to prove that you're over 18. That's
right.
it. I have no problem with the porn industry. I'm not one of these conservatives who's going to say all porn workers, all sex workers should be shunned and thrown to the wolves. I don't think that I want to do that or maybe even be in a relationship with someone who does that. But I'm not going to look down on someone who makes a living doing that, because if that's what they want to do, that's their right. And just don't throw it in my face unless I'm in private, right? So pornography is something that you enjoy in private.
It's not something you want to see at Ralph's.
It's not something you want to go to a gay bar and watch on television or on the screens. It's not exactly. It's not something you want to experience in a group of people. Maybe some people do. I don't want to do that. If I'm by myself or with a partner, fine. If it's a mutually agreed thing and we're both over 18, fine. I have no problem with people watching pornography. I don't want to... All these people recently, because of this law, I don't know if you've seen this, on Twitter, all these very conservative people are saying Twitter should ban porn or outlaw porn or whatever. I'm just
it's not going to happen.
Tumblr did that, and look where they went.
They all ended up on Twitter.
Right.
No site is going to do that, by the way.
Because they're going to lose revenue. It's just not fiscally smart.
But what's smart, I think, is controlling mobile phone access for people who are underage, and that's the big problem.
And they have those things in place. You have to go in like 3 times to like take off certain privileges to be able to witness and view some of these tweets and videos.
But mobile device access, I think, is the crucial thing for young people. Young people are not sitting at home on the family computer being like, oh, I'm gonna fire up, X and X kind of bit. Like, young people are not doing that. It's not the early 2000s. They're using their phones. So why do they have a phone to be, an emergency or something? Why don't they have a flip phone? Because they can call me if there's an emergency. That's it. It's cheaper per month.
Do they make flip phones anymore?
Oh, they do. No, they do. There's a whole Nokia flip phone thing. So why do young people need smartphones, in a sense? Well, you can text their friends. No, not really. You're going to see them tomorrow. So something is very unsettling here it's called you cannot control what device your child uses, and then therefore you're going to control what's on the device that they can access. But unfortunately, if you have a device, you can access anything. Putting an ID verification in place for exclusive Pornhub is not going to stop young people from seeing whatever they want to see, or Twitter, or anything. They're going to find it one way or another.
Right.
So how do you control the access to the device that provides it, that keeps them from having it? I think dumb phones until 18 at this point. I really think that's going to be the solution.
So this argument, and this is where it really fascinates me, this argument has led to statistics and reports being brought out favoring one side or the other in this argument. Apparently, and I didn't know this, teen pregnancy is down.
By a lot. Teen sex is down.
Right. And so I think one side is blaming pornography for this.
I think there's an argument to be made.
There is an argument to be made, but I don't think that's the problem. The problem is really internet and social media and smartphones as a whole. It's not anything with pornography. It's the fact that we've talked about this before, right? Generation Z, right? Zoomers, they can't have a conversation unless they're on a device.
That's true. They can't physically interact.
If they can't have a conversation with you, how are they going to have sex with you? Like, if two 16-year-olds, and I'm not advocating for underage sex, please, I want to make the record straight. But
I put it on the record right now. But it's on the record.
The point is, if two 16-year-olds cannot sit in a room and have a physical conversation with each other...
They're not going to be physical.
No. So this is a good thing that we're leading to less teen pregnancy, but that comes at the cost of less interaction, period.
But here's the thing.
And that also came with the pandemic.
That's true. That made it worse for 3 years. But here's the thing. Using your Rocco's example, you were out, you had a drink or two with some friends. Let's say there's a guy who you wanted to talk to at the bar. He's 23. So he's still part of that younger millennial. Okay, before you get to that.
I know.
Yes, I know. He is too young and too broke to interest you.
Yes.
I mean, unless you can harvest his stem cells, he's useless for your purposes.
Yes.
If you went up to the bar and you started having a conversation with him, you're like, hey, how are you? Where are you from? Everything like this. You would scare the shit out of him. As would I, as would anybody. There is not a default of being able to talk to somebody in real life. And therefore, two people that age are not going to initiate conversation with each other unless it's, as I wave a phone around, on an app, on the apps, on something like that. That is a bad precedent, and that is concerning. Because then that, as someone who's a linguist, that affects language. It affects how people talk.
But I never thought that we'd get to the point where I would be on record and on a podcast saying The fact that teen pregnancy is down is concerning.
Well, it's true because it means our fertility rate's going to drop at this point.
Well, no. You know what? The birth rate is down.
Yeah.
But you know what? Good. I'm sorry. Good. We are overpopulated in this country, in this world, period. Let's take it down for a few years.
But
we can live for 5 to 10 years with a lower birth rate. We can live.
Well, but the only groups
because the boomers are not dying out fast enough.
Well, did I send you the thing where someone, I think it was earlier today, they said they were at a boomer yard sale and they had stuff for, out on tables for sale, and it's like a 50-year-old stand mixer, like a pre-KitchenAid stand mixer. It was just 8 at that point. Stand mixer. But this is the worst part.
Outhouse 8.
Basically. They had bottles of cleaning products from the house, like Windex, Comet, pet urine spray, for sale with price tags at the yard sale. Like $1, $3, $10. That is tacky. Selling your used cleaning products, half used and already opened. That's why the boomers are cleaning up with everything that they got. Like, that's insane. That's another level.
I mean, I have an aside because I told you about an estate sale I went to that was scary.
Yeah. They sold everything but the body.
It looked like the family cared nothing about this person who died. Nothing was touched in this house because the waffle mix that apparently this woman was using for breakfast the morning she died was still on the counter, and half of it was poured into the measuring cup. They didn't touch anything, and everything, nothing had a price tag on it. They just said, tell us what you want to pay for it, and we will say yes or no.
I want the dead lady's waffle mix.
You could pick up the cup of half a cup of waffle mix in a Pyrex dish and say, I'll pay 50 cents for this, and they could have said yes or no. This is sad.
That's sad that they sold it. That's
it's
weird.
Disgusting.
Just throw it out.
It's disgusting.
The day that the old woman died, my grandmother, she had pre-made a couple entrees in the fridge, and they just had flow over them. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll have them for dinner. They're fine. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Throw them out?
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine food.
But you wouldn't have left it in the refrigerator.
No, and it's at 50 cents.
Sale,
no.
Come pay for this.
No, she would have haunted me and killed me if she would have known that I sold her fucking food.
That is the worst estate sale I've ever been to. But to your point.
I went to one where we got a couple of the tables outside. This was a couple weeks ago, right here in Sherman Oaks. And we went to the house, and I don't know if you remember this as a 90s kid. They had 2 bottles in the cupboard of this clear soda with these little balls in it called Orbits with a Z.
Yeah.
They had 2 of those for sale for $10 each. And they'd been kept since the 90s. They only made it for a couple of years. And I told the woman selling them, I said, look, I would buy these because they're collectible now. I won't, because you need to go on eBay and sell these, because people are selling them for $100 a bottle. Original, untouched, still sealed Orbits.
Like Zima.
Yes, same era, like Zima and like all the other crap from that.
Do they even make Smirnoff
Crystal
Ice
Pepsi?
anymore? Smirnoff
Is
Ice.
that the Jewish word? Give me some Smirnoff with my bagel.
Smirnoff Ice.
Yes, they
do. They make
Smirnoff Ice.
I don't think they do.
They do. Let me look.
I mean, Smirnoff vodka is still
no
thing,
Smirnoff,
but Smirnoff Ice, those malt beverages.
That was the first White Claw with Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah, but it was full of sugar.
Oh yeah,
White Claw has.
No, they still have them, and they even updated the brand. There's Smirnoff Ice Pink Lemonade.
Oh God!
So I'll get those for the next podcast.
Oh God!
We're gonna get fucked up on the Smirnoff Ices. It'll be like
we'd have to drink like 12 of them, and we'd be in a sugar coma on the floor.
Kyle comes in with an EpiPen, and we're just rolling around.
No, an insulin pen.
That's why I like these teas from Owl's Brew. They're called boozy teas and botanicals. This one is jasmine and blueberries. Only 100 calories. Total sugars are 3 grams. They're fine.
There's like 100 calories in one swig of Smirnoff Ice. They're so full of sugar.
Those are the
They taste delicious, but they're so full of sugar. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are all that we drink. These have fresh brewed organic tea, water, green rooibos, jasmine buds, rose petals, hibiscus flowers, alcohol, blueberry juice concentrate.
That's an ingredient. Alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol. Blueberry juice concentrate.
Like isopropyl.
Yes, they put rubbing alcohol in these. Blueberry juice concentrate, carbon dioxide, pomegranate juice concentrate, lemon juice concentrate. That's it. It says there's 3% juice. No artificial flavors, no natural flavors. No bullshit. No sugar substitutes, no pairing.
There's nothing fake, but nothing real in it.
There's nothing in this goddamn it.
You just paid $12 a can for this, but there's nothing in it. Oh my god.
Well, there was a line for there was a Mad TV parody of this woman that worked at a juice shop, and she said, "You just paid $6 for some orange juice and ice that went 3 rounds in the blender."
God.
Anyway, on that note,
was there any other cultural things you wanted to bring up?
No.
My story was enough?
No, that's good enough.
Okay.
All right.
Well, the drag queens at Rocco's need to go fuck themselves.
They do, that's the problem.